And welcome to the Positively Gainesville podcast. It is sponsored by the Gainesville Economic Development Corporation as we kind of shine a spotlight on some of the great things going on here in our local community. And one of those is the new Gold Star Families Memorial that has been constructed at Leonard Park. You've probably driven by and seen those beautiful panels up there. Maybe you stopped and looked at them. Hopefully you have. If not, we're going to give you a reason to, because today on the podcast we have Cliff Yow. He's the co-chair of that project. He's an honorary board member of the Woody Williams Foundation, and you can just tell us any other titles that I can give you right now, Cliff.
No, that's about sums it up.
And talk about the foundation. A lot of people know Woody, of course, from the many times that he's visited with the Medal of Honor program. But how did you get involved in becoming a member of that foundation?
Well, I got involved because of my association with our Medal of Honor host city program here in Gainesville. I was a board member for many years, and when I rotated off the board, this was a project that Woody had come to our community first and wanted to build, and kind of fell through the cracks, and we got a small committee together of local people that wanted to make this dream a reality here in Gainesville.
Yeah, and for those, as we start here, we probably should kind of give an explanation. Gold Star Families, for those that don't know, what is that?
Gold Star Family is anyone that has lost a family member in any conflict, whether it's the Civil War or whether it's a current war. That's the definition of a Gold Star family.
And it was Woody's idea, dream, to have one of these in all 50 states. Is that correct?
Yes. Yep.
How far are you along now, or is he along in this project?
I believe he has 45 of the 50 states and Guam projects in development. There are only 5 states that they're currently working on to get committees.
Okay, so walk us through this project. When he first came to the committee, the Medal of Honor committee, with the idea, to last month when you had the dedication, how long did that take?
Oh, gosh. I believe it took close to 4 to 5 years. From the time I got involved, it was around 2 years to get this program, get the project finished and completed. It took a year of fundraising and weather and all of those type of issues that go into a project like this to get to our finished monument.
Well, let's go step by step through that process. Sure. So the idea, that I'm guessing everyone thought, yeah, this is a great idea, but how are we going to pay for it?
Right.
So what happened after that?
So when we got our committee together, the most important thing I think with a project like this is to go out to the community and to tell them about the project and educate them. They may not be aware of our war memorial that's out there. Over 100 people in our community that died for our freedom. Their names are listed on that memorial, and we wanted to honor those families. So, we wanted to make sure to go out and let organizations like Kiwanis, Rotary, Lions, VFW, let them know that there's this project that we're doing and it's benefiting our community and these families you wanted to recognize.
Well, how much was the total cost of the project? How much did y'all need to raise?
Just under $80,000.
Okay. And then are all of these, you mentioned that they want to have one in all the states, and there's 5 that are now, are they all pretty much similar? Do they look alike, or does each community kind of get a chance to put its own stamp on it?
Yeah, each community gets to put its own stamp on it if they want. Obviously, depending on where it is, these monuments can cost a couple $100,000 to $300,000. We're just blessed that we have a great city council and city manager that helped and was fully behind this project to get it built. The $80,000, we did that primarily with small donations of $50, $100, an occasional $1,000, and we only did it with a couple corporate sponsors that came in kind of late after they saw how much we've already raised, and it just kind of goes back to showing how Gainesville is such a patriotic community and wanted this monument in honor of these of our fallen heroes.
Well, fundraising, a big part of it, but also the design. We talked about that.
Sure.
Give us an insight on what went into the design, because I know you used some local people to kind of help with that and probably brainstorm some ideas. And man, it sure looks nice.
Oh yeah, two of our panels are designed by locals. One of our panels, which is our Homeland panel, was designed by Joe Connor, and she's a local artist in town, part of GAVA as well. And then our second panel next to it, which is the Sacrifice panel, was designed by Gary Alexander. He did the photograph, and even the photograph is represented by his Purple Heart that he earned in Vietnam, and it's in the hands of a lady and a young baby, and the lady's hand is Elaine McCourse of the Morton Museum.
Yeah,
So,
pretty interesting there.
Yeah.
And then you mentioned those two panels. What else are the other two panels that are featured?
Well, we have our other two panels, which is Woody's design panel, which is the Iwo Jima panel, and then the final panel is we have the Bixby letter, very famous letter written by Abraham Lincoln, and kind of just to show the sacrifice that people have made. So
Well, and then right in the middle of all these four panels is the really coolest part of the entire thing, I think, and
Yes.
that's the cutout, which basically is of Woody Williams, correct?
Yes, yeah, it's Woody Williams saluting, and the way that it is set, you can catch the shadow going through, and then you can see the flag going through as well. That's on the War Memorial.
So a lot of thought and planning went into this, because you had to make that memorial at just the right angle to get that flag on the War Memorial. And man, I'm guessing that y'all had some pretty fun meetings in planning this whole thing.
Oh yeah, we had some great folks that really made this happen. It's all local community people that they sit on other boards of different charities, and so when you have that, and you have another project that's a nonprofit project, and you have people that are on the Medal of Honor board, people that are on the Morton Museum board, and things like that, that come together and to get behind a single project. We the money wise, we've got the money raised very quickly, in almost a year. It was just all the rain that we had. It set us back maybe 6-7 months, and like I said, we wouldn't been able to do this type of project without the support of the people here, and it's pretty amazing.
Yeah, and I know you probably want to thank the city of Gainesville, the Parks and Recreation
Yes.
Department, because
Yeah.
they were a big help in constructing this. And then late last month in January, you got to actually have the formal dedication, and what a great day that was. Just tell us how that went.
Yeah, so our monument here in Gainesville is the 60th monument that Woody has dedicated. What's kind of unique about this monument is that for as small as a community that Gainesville is, they had built these in Honolulu and in Arizona and in other places of Texas, but we were in the top 3 of Gold Star families in attendance. And that just says something for our community. And to have all these people come embrace it, and people drove from all over the state of Texas and Oklahoma just to be here to dedicate this monument.
Yeah, and I want to get your thoughts on what their reactions were when they got to see it for the first time. I bet there were some pretty raw emotions out there.
Yeah, there were a lot of people in tears, and it was funny because I talked to Woody afterwards, and he was just shocked that how many people he asked the Gold Star families to join him, and then he said it was something that it just filled his heart to see family after family after family member coming up there. And there were a lot of folks that, their loved ones passed away and died in Vietnam, and they're still hurting. And so this is kind of a bridge for them to heal a little bit, for them to meet other folks. There were some Gold Star children. I know that one came down from Tulsa. His father died in Korea, never got to meet his father. And so when he has this events like this and dedications like this, he can visit with other people that have that same emotion, have that same loss, and then start healing. So,
well, then you kind of just answered my next question, which is, why is it important for us to have this memorial in Gainesville, Texas?
Sure. Like I had mentioned before, there's over 100 people in our community up until Vietnam that have died in conflict, and but over the last 4 or 5 years, Gainesville has grown leaps and bounds. And you have people that are moving here, maybe have never had something like this in their life. What's really kind of a neat story, I had a lady who contacted me, a new Gold Star wife, just had moved to Sherman. And she said, instead of buying Christmas gifts this year, I'm making a $250 donation because that's what my husband would want to do. And the same thing, she came here, she was in tears. That's why it's important. You're honoring these folks that have had the part of a unique club that no one ever wants to be a part of. They have lost a loved one, and they have died for our freedoms, and it's just a small way for us to honor them.
Yeah, I think sometimes we think about the soldier and forget about that they had a family, they had a wife, children, mother, father, brothers, sisters, things like that. So it's awesome, and I guess it kind of just ties in with why Gainesville is the most patriotic small town in America, because now you have the Gold Star Families Memorial right next to the War Memorial, a block away from Medal of Honor Park.
Yes, and it's also on the Blue Star Highway. So, I mean, you couldn't have asked for, perfect placement of the monument and representing our community. It's really quite an amazing thing.
Yeah. Well, what's next? I'm sure that as a committee, Medal of Honor weekend seems to always get bigger and bigger every year. I know that's coming up in April, so we're looking forward to that. But I don't want you to give away any secrets. Sure. Anything on the horizon as far as continuing this trend?
Yeah. Due to a local benefactor, a local business owner here, they have given me a generous donation as seed money to build one in Oklahoma City. And Oklahoma doesn't have a monument yet, so that's very exciting in that respect. And but imagine that, you start off in a small community like ours, and it springs others. And let me tell you just another quick story. The ladies at Fort Chadbourne, they met Woody Williams at the Medal of Honor banquet here, invited them to their event, and they were able to build a monument before we did. And it's because of our Medal of Honor Host City program. They got to speak to him, got to meet him, invite him down there, and things happen. And then once again, because of our Host City program, we're able to build one here, and hopefully we'll be able to build one in Oklahoma City, Ardmore, and even Kansas City. So it's one little idea that started here. It spreads out all across the country.
Well, we always love having Woody in town. He's a regular at Medal of Honor weekend, and matter of fact, I think he's here so often we have to make him an honorary member of the city.
Right.
You can be an honorary board member. We need to make him an honorary citizen of the city of Gainesville. Well, Cliff, appreciate all that you and the rest of the folks on that board did to make that possible. And again, if people don't know where it is, right there at the front entrance of Leonard Park, you can't miss it. It's beautiful. It doesn't cost anything to walk up there and check it out. And as I've drove by, and I'm sure you do this every time you look over there, you'll see just a random family. And man, a couple of times I've seen people saluting, former soldiers that are saluting. And it really kind of gives chills to you when you see that. And I'm sure as a board, you've got to be proud.
Exceedingly proud. And at night, if you have a chance to see it at night, it is just really moving on how well it's lit. And it's just a beautiful presentation for our city. When they come in, it's right off of California. If they've never been to Gainesville, what a kind of a welcoming for people to see. So
yeah, again, thanks for all that you've done, the rest of the board has done, and everyone that's part of the Medal of Honor weekend as well. We look forward to that always in April. That's Cliff Yow. He is the co-chair of the Gold Star Families Memorial Project. Again, check it out at Leonard Park. And our thanks again to the Gainesville Economic Development Corporation for sponsoring this Positively Gainesville podcast. See you next time.